Hey everyone, and welcome to the final part for the Glacial Storm process. Oh my god, it's been so long, right? But yeah, I know I promised I would do this, so let's go right through it. This is the last part, which is the mixing, and I'm quite new to mixing myself, so not sure if I'm gonna be of any help. But okay, first, what you want to do first with the mix is to organize your your plugins into okay, let me open here. You will have to use the mixer, obviously. So yeah, here we have I grouped this this ones were basically tests, I guess. I don't even remember, but yeah, I assigned oh yeah, I assigned these plugins, right? To the main lead, and then these two plugins, Foreman 2 and Square Purity 2, and Poison 2 again. I forgot which ones it was. The secondary leads. I have drums, I have morphine, keys and support, and the bass. So yeah, I split into like 4 or 5 things, different things like leads, secondary leads, drums, keys and support, and bass. Yeah, those 5 things. And for each one of those, as far as I remember, I used one sound godizer. Now, sound godizer is a compression tool that's really useful. It makes it better in the mix. I'm completely new to this kind of stuff, so I just added sound godizer to each one of these bundles and then tried different settings to see which one sounded the best for me. And those are these are for bass, these are for keys, these are for drums, these are for the secondary leads, and finally to the main lead. So yeah, each one has a different setting, a different intensity to sit better in the mix. It's all mixing is really subjective in my point of view, so you just have to try and mess with different settings until you get the sound that you were looking for. And that's pretty much what I do compression wise. So after I compressed everything and made it sound more tight, so to speak, I just had to then change the volume, you know, sort of those mixing tables that you have. So for each one of those bundles, I created an automation clip. You go right here, for example, and then you create an automation clip, and that's what I use to sort of guide myself through the mixing volume wise. So here we have hold on, yeah, let me just shrink those a bit, and there's the background, which is not I didn't do that precise kind of thing. So it starts okay, and then what I do, this changes the volume of each bundle. So if I tweak here, it will lower the volume for all of those plugins that I assigned to this group, the main leads. So after that, it was just a matter of playing the song over and over again until you get the sound that you want. That's really all I did. So you see, for example, here the keys and support in Globe, these have these two patterns here. So they kind of have oh, and these as well, which is the piano. So they kind of have a little bit of sustain after they're done. So I just lowered the volume here to to drown it out, and then brought it back to where it was so I could use it later. Same here, there was a little bit of the drums that I wanted to catch here from the end, which are the similar that go. So I wanted that sound a little higher, and then of course the main impact from the kick drums and the crash cymbals here, so it's at peak volume to cause like an impact. So yeah, and then I bring it back. Okay, let's move on. So far these parts are what I use as a reference to the compression, so which means that most of these parts are unaltered. And after I did the compression, all I did really was to go along the song, and if there was something that I wanted more attention or some other thing that I wanted to drown out, I'll just change it here using the automation clips. Now I know that's probably that's the most the wrongest way one could mix something, and I'm aware of that, but I don't care. So as long as the final result pleases me, I don't give a fuck how it's done. That sounded a little bit aggressive, I'm sorry for that. So what we have here, pretty much unchanged. Now here you see that there's the intro strumming that goes like this. So since there are a lot of plugins in that particular pattern, I decided to lower the sound a bit. Now it's very subtle. Every change that you do here, if you drag it out like down here, it's gonna be impossible to hear it at all in the final mix. So you have to be really careful. It's like a really meticulous job. I don't even know if that's a word in English, but it is in Portuguese, and I think you get what I mean. So I bring it back here to the guitar variation, but the secondary leads, I bring it back even more. I bring it up even more, which are form and 2 square purity. Square purity is here because square purity is the main sound that I wanted to have a little bit of highlights here, spotlights. So I brought it up a little bit so it wouldn't drown out in the song, because as I listened to, I was like, wow, I can barely hear what I want to hear. So so that's pretty much the attitude you have to have when you're mixing stuff, at least simple mixing like this, because this is not real mixing. This is just like it just works, you know. It's not the correct way to do that. The other FL composers can tell you more about that, but since I'm the one that created the song, I just have to tell you what's going through my mind. So you see the square purity is a lot more present here than it would have been. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did for the rest of the song. I bring it down again, so it wouldn't drown out the other stuff. The twin solo was hard to mix for me. You see, there's a lot of variation here because at some specific points, one of the plugins wouldn't stand out as much as I wanted to, especially Let Ninja. So especially here, you know, this is the part where the harmonization occurs. So I raised it for a brief period of time, just so I could like fuck, I'm sucking in English today. So I could give the proper spotlight that I wanted. That these are supposed to be chords, you know. And then again here. And so goes on. So the fast solo here, again, I raised it a little bit. You see that's not really that much. Again, to give sort of a highlight to it. I forgot what fast solo sounds like. Right back, then up again. Now, since there's an inversion in the plugins that are used, I just simply raised it. I inverted the spotlight here and then given an accent here, because Oh yeah, I forgot the reason. That part is for the harmonies, obviously, and then it goes back down, just so because it's referring to these plugins here. So I needed to give a little more of attention to this bit. And then it goes on, pretty much unchanged. Like I said, I based the most important thing was to compress stuff as I pleased. So you need to have a really comfortable section that you know that most of the song relies on that kind of pattern, and just compress based on that, so you will have little to no trouble when mixing. So here we have the odd solo again. It was too loud when it first happened, so I lowered the volume a little bit. And what's cool is that you can actually see it shifting here. You see, you can see the volume thing shifting. So I bring it back for the strumming solo, and then there's the chant, and then I bring it down during the cold solo, especially because it was too loud, because there's a lot of plugins going on together here. But at other points it sounds too quiet because of different plugins that don't have that. Oh my god, I should quit English, really. Oh my god. Because those plugins are quieter, so I brought it back up. Yeah, you get the drill. And then later on, oh yeah, I brought it down just so it wouldn't drown out the beginning of this particular part, which is the intro unison. I just repeated myself here. And so it goes on. For the winter tap again, I had to lower it a bit. Anyway, oh, this part is actually interesting. You see that there's a small curvature here down. That's because this peak here is too high pitched and it was too loud. So I had to do that. Let me see how that looks like when on the mixer. It's actually quite funny. And for the winter solo, since there's a lot of shit going on, I had to tweak it up a little bit, then bring it back down because there were a lot of notes. And then later, if I'm not mistaken, I had to lower it again because there's another plugin coming in, which is Morphine, I guess. And the bass was standing out too much here. I guess I didn't change the bass that much at all. So anyway, and I bring it back up because here's a really huge wall of sound. So I had to bring it back up for the intro variation. And this is my favorite bit about mixing, is that I didn't want the drums to be too loud here at the end, so I gradually brought it down in volume just so I could have this fade out effect. Sounds pretty cool in my opinion. And finally, since it ends only with the piano, and yeah, the piano is the only sound remaining. So I just used that to give the proper fade out, otherwise it would continue for a longer time than I wanted to. And I guess that's it. Here you can see all the changes in the mix. It's easier to see it like this. Hold on, let me. Yeah, here you can see all the manual changes that I had to do on the mix. You see the bass was only changed here at the end, indeed. And the keys, I had to do it here again so you could drown out the piano sound. And yeah, the leads were the ones that were affected the most because sometimes it would drown out the song as a whole. And I'm still tiny. What the fuck? Okay, guess it was about that. And yeah, I can't tell you that much about mixing. You just have to feel it. And after you compress stuff, you're good to go pretty much. And then just listen to the song and see which parts you want to have less volume. And yeah, I guess that's it. So as I promised, I will release the FLP for this shit. I will put the link in the description, I guess, if I remember to do so. If by the time this video goes up, because I think I will upload it in like 2 days or so. Uh, oh, I have to go. Okay, so yeah, that's it. I will upload the FLP file. You can have fun with it, and then yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what you guys want. So yeah, if by the time this video goes up, which will be in August 5th, I guess, you are welcome to tell me to put up the download link if it isn't there already. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.